First, we are pleased to welcome Mr. Eugenio Patene, Deputy Mayor for Mobility from the City of Rome. He will give an overview of the city and explain the key urban challenges that will serve as the themes for this year's pilot project. Please give a warm round of applause while welcoming him to the stage.
Hello. Hello, everybody. Good evening, and thank you to the Tokyo Metropolitan Government for having us, for inviting Rome, and thank you to the companies who will pitch tonight. And I will come to you in a moment. My name is Eugenio Patane, and I'm the Deputy Mayor for Mobility and Transport of Rome. And I came to Tokyo with a question to you more than an offer. The question is simple. How can a city that is nearly 3,000 years old use technology to become more human and not less? In the next 27 minutes, I will try to give you the material you need to help me answer that question. I will show you what Rome is building, and most importantly, where Rome is looking for partners. I hope you will be those partners. So we will talk about the Roman context before talking about the technology. And so I will show you some numbers. Rome is one of the three largest cities in the European Union by size and by population. But number alone do not describe us. Let me give you four numbers that do. 1,300 square kilometers, that is the surface of Rome. It is larger than Singapore. It is almost 9 times the size of Paris. 4.5 million daily users, not residents, users. Every single day the city welcomes the population of a small European nation. 500,000 registered enterprises. Rome is the first Italian city for business density, first for women-led companies, and home to roughly 1 in 5 Italian innovative startups. 20% of the national innovation ecosystem is based here. That means that when you work with Rome, you are not working with a museum. You are working with the largest business platform in Italy. How big is Rome? 1,285 square kilometers of municipal territory. It is important to understand what this means in practice. Most capitals in Europe are compact. Rome is not. Rome is a constellation of neighborhoods, of villages, and green area inside a single administrative boundary. Governing mobility in this territory is not governing a city, it's governing a small region. Here you see the scale. The surface of Rome is greater than Milan, Naples, Turin, Palermo, Genoa, Bologna, Florence, Peri, and Catania combined together. When I meet my Italian colleagues, they often envy Rome for its beauty. Then I show this map, and they don't envy me at all. Size is not a privilege, it is a responsibility. It multiplies every problem, and it makes every solution harder to scale. As you can see, to give you an international reference, Rome is approximately the same size of a city like Los Angeles, but with a fundamental difference. Los Angeles has designed for the automobile from the beginning. Its street grid, its zoning, its density, all built around private cars. Rome was designed over 28th century before car existed. Our historic center has streets that are 2,000 years old. You cannot put 21st century inside a first century infrastructure without inventing something new. This is precisely the invitation I bring you tonight. Help us invent it. The Roman context. Let us look at the composition of those 4.5 million daily users. 2.8 million residents. I want to show you the difference between Tokyo and Rome. Rome is 2 times the surface of Tokyo, because Tokyo is nearly 600 square kilometers. But in Tokyo, in that surface, we have 8,008,000 inhabitants. In Rome, we have 2.8 million inhabitants. So we have the 30% of the population. What does that mean? It means that up to 1 million commuters every day from the metropolitan region, up to 1 million tourists, with peaks well above that during the Jubilee and in the summer season, came to Rome. This means that on every given day, almost 40% of the people moving through Rome do not live in Rome. They come, they use the city, and then they leave. This is a fundamental fact for anyone who wants to design mobility solutions here. You're not designing for residents, you're designing for permanent flow. On the economic side, the numbers speak clearly. Almost 500,000 registered enterprises, 20% of Italy's innovative startups, and I'm proud to say that first place in Italy for women-led businesses. This is the Rome that will partner with you, a Rome that produces, not only a Rome that welcomes. Our activities, our diamonds. 6 sectors define the economic identity of Rome. Let me walk you through them briefly because each one is a potential market for the solution you are building. The first one is tourism and hospitality. Over 20 million visitors a year, to real figure updated after the Jubilee. This sector is the first test bed for any behavioral change, crowd management, or digital pass solution. When you move 20 million people through a UNESCO-protected historic center, every percentage point of efficiency matters. The second is cinema and film industry. Cinecittà was founded in 1937, 10 years before most of the world's large studios. The film industry here is not nostalgia, it is an active production. 3. The government and international and national organization. Rome hosts the FAO, the WFP, the IFAD, 3 of the main United Nations Food and Agricultural Agency, plus nearly 200 embassies. These make Rome a natural gateway from any technology that wants to enter the European institutional market. 4th, information technology. The Lazio region in which Rome is one of the 3 largest digital innovation hubs in Italy. Then, space sector. Rome hosts the Italian space agency and the headquarters of Europe's main aerospace companies. 6th one, the pharmaceutical, a vertical cluster of research and production, especially in biotechnology. This is Rome you are engaging with tonight, a Rome that is ancient on its stones and very contemporary in its economy. Now I want to show you how Rome is preparing structurally to work with companies like yours, because context is not enough. You need to know what framework you would plug into. So our digital strategy rests on 3 layers. They are sequential. Each one depends on the previous one. The first is data management. Without clean, owned, shared data, there is no strategy, only rhetoric. Second, digital infrastructure. Without connectivity, data does not flow. Third, artificial intelligence. Without data and infrastructure, artificial intelligence is a demo, not a service. Let me take these 3 layers one at the time. The first layer, is data. Data is the language through which a city understands itself. I did not write this sentence, but I believe it deeply. For decades, Rome, like most large cities, operates without knowing itself. Each department had its own data and its own format, its own silo. Coordination was heroic, not systematic. We decided to change this. The change is not a technology, it is a political choice. The Rome Data Platform is that political choice made operational. 3 principles. The first one, data ownership. Every data set owned by Roma Capitale is cataloged, indexed, and governed centrally. No more orphan databases sitting on a personal hard drive of a civil servant. The second point is data cleaning. All sources are standardized and cleaned. A photo reported by a citizen, a photo detected by a bus, a photo photographed by a Rome inspection team, all 3 must become the same photo in our systems. This is harder than it sounds, but we must do it. 3, data sharing. The mobility department talks to the waste department. The tourism department talks to the public security room. In the past, this was a phone call. Today, it is an API. This matters to you directly. If you bring a solution to Rome, you will find a data environment ready to receive it. Not perfect, but ready. Second, without connection, there is no digital service. This is obvious, but every obvious truth must be operationalized. Here are the number of our infrastructure deployment. We are installing 1,170 remote units for 5G coverage, 3,000 antennas, 250 kilometers of fiber optic cables laid across the city. We are covering 198 public squares, 98 main streets, and 7 key public buildings with full 5G and free public Wi-Fi. And we are enabling 4,000 IoT sensors and cameras for mobility, environmental monitoring, security, and public services. I'm telling you these numbers because several of the solutions we'll pitch tonight, drone control, AI image analysis, behavioral platforms, need connectivity to work. In Rome, that connectivity is no longer a bottleneck. It is the ground you will build on. The third layer is artificial intelligence that empowers cities to act before they react. This is the key difference between a smart city and a wired city. A wired city has sensors, a smart city has foresight. And let me show you 4 examples of our artificial intelligence is already operating in Rome, 4 vertical domains, 4 control rooms. The first one belongs to the mobility, is the mobility control hub, traffic and public transport optimized in real time. We integrate data from over 2,000 public buses, 30,000 parking sensors, traffic cameras, and mobility as a service operators, bike sharing, e-scooter sharing, car sharing. The control hub does not simply observe, it suggests intervention. The second is the central security room, the coordination of actions between municipal police, national police, emergency services, and civil protection. It is a single point where all urban security data converge. I mention this for transparency, although security is not in my direct portfolio, but is important for the city. The third one is the Uchronia control room, waste collection routes and resource use optimization. Our waste operator, AMA, uses this system to dynamically adjust collection routes based on field levels, traffic, and events in the city. The fourth one matters for the tourism. It is Julia, and is a conversational assistant that personalized the experience of visitors and residents. Julia answers in 60 multiple languages, connects tourists to public transport, to cultural information, to services. She is, in a sense, the public face of the Roma data platform. Each of these 4 rooms needs partners. Each of them has a gap. In the next hour, some of you will address those gaps directly. Everything I have described was tested under the most demanding condition a city can face, the Jubilee of 2025. During the Jubilee, Rome welcomed over 30 million additional visitors across the year. At peak events, Easter weekend, the canonization ceremonies, the closing of the Holy Door, and also from unexpected events. I'm talking about the death of the Pope, I'm talking about the election of the new Pope that we couldn't even suppose. The city handled more than 1 million people in a single day, concentrating just a few square kilometers around the Vatican. And it worked. It worked because the 3 layers, data, infrastructure, artificial intelligence, were ready. Buses were rerouted in real time. Pedestrian flows were managed dynamically. Waste collection was reprogrammed hour by hour. Air quality was monitored continuously. The Jubilee was not only a religious event. For us, it was the biggest stress test ever run on a European capital, and it gave us a legacy, organizational, technologically, and methodologically, that we are now applying to the ordinary life of the city. What was extraordinary now became the new normal. If you want to know whether Rome is ready for advanced technological partnership, the honest answer is we just proved it in front of 30 million people. So far, I've shown you the context and the strategy. Now I want to show you the door, because a strategy without an operational entry point is just a document. La Casa delle Tecnologie Emergenti, that means the House of Emerging Technologies, is Rome's operational arm for innovation partnership. It works with 4 categories of actors. Entrepreneurs, we help individuals turn ideas into buses, creating businesses that make a difference. Startups, we support companies entering the market with the technological, entrepreneurial, and regulatory skills they need to scale. We let existing business thrive. Small and medium enterprises, we help traditional businesses absorb new technology, including helping them work with existing patents and develop new ones. We reinforce bottom-up innovation. The last one is corporates. We collaborate with leading international corporations to shape joint vision for the city. This is where you, the company in this room, can enter either as a startups or through partnership with Italian corporates already working with us. The overall mission is simple: transforming businesses into innovation into sustainable solution for the city. Not technology for its own sake, technology that answer a real urban question. In the past 3 years, we have learned something important about the role of a public administration in innovation. It is not our job to build the products. It is our job to guide stakeholders toward the common good and to remove the obstacles that would stop the private sector from doing its work. So we offer 3 things to companies that work with us. First one, we help enterprises develop and implement innovation, not abstract support, but concrete access to data, to testing area, and to regulatory pathways. The second, strengthen collaboration between university and businesses. Rome has over 200,000 university students and 7 main universities. That is your talent pool, not just ours. Third, we empower citizens to confidently use digital tools, because if people cannot use the technology does not exist. And so, at the end, I start with a question. Let me end with an invitation. The question was, how can a 1,000-year-old city use technology to become more human. The invitation is this. In the next 2 hours, some of you will pitch to me. I will listen to all of you with the same attention. I will not promise more than I can deliver. And in Rome, public commitments are serious commitments. But I came here with a specific curiosity. I want to understand what Japanese innovation ecosystem can bring to a European capital that has different rules, a different urban structure, a different culture of public space. As I said, Rome and Tokyo are different, but I learned this in 2 days. But Rome and Tokyo share something important. We both believe that a city is a form of civilization and that technology must serve civilization and not replace it. I will be ready to listen to your answer, and for now, thank you for your attention.
Mr. Patene, thank you very much for your presentation. We will now open the floor for questions. Please raise your hand so we can bring the microphone to you. Please also ask your question in English if possible. 日本語でも結構です。ご質問のある方、お手を挙げていただければと思います。では、後方のお手を挙げていただいている方、マイクをお持ちします。
Thank you for your presentation. I'm very surprised that you already implemented such a great AI solution for your city, and I'm wondering how you react with, how you interact with the people in the city. You know, I understand the city can use the AI to optimize the transportation system, but how do you, how can I say, give the effect to the people activities in Rome city?
Well, let me be honest, because Rome is a very car-oriented city, and we are in the middle of a revolution because we want to transform that car-oriented city into an intermodal city. And so I think that information technology is not a goal to reach, but is a tool with who you can reach the goals that you mean. And our goals in our city are reduce the pollution, reduce the congestion, fighting climate change, and also fighting for the safety on the street. That is a very big problem because in the last year we have 124 deaths in the street for the accident and fatalities. And so AI is very important because we use that in the mobility control hubs. That is for us is very important because is integrating all the tools of mobility that we have and to implement the mobility as a service. Because if we are pointing on intermodality, we want that the accessibility of all the tools of mobility are very simple for the people. So probably the people didn't see the using of AI, but we did for making their life simple. And now with the new app of the mass operator, the public companies of public transport of Rome that is called ATAC, using the app for the mass integrator. And then the people in that app can use with the ticketing and the information that are integrated and the travel planning that are integrated for, you know, public transport, sharing mobility, taxi, and whatever. And they are integrating all these, and in the next future, the ticketing will be integrated in one ticket for all these tools. And so AI is very important to also to apply the best fare for the people. I mean, if I take a ticket for the bus, I pay in Rome a small price, but because it is €1.50. Okay, and but if I take 6 times the bus in a day, you must recognize that the best fare is not to pay 6 tickets, but is to pay the daily ticket that is less and is economic for the people. So probably this impact of AI in using AI is not very clear to the people, but it was very useful in the year of Jubilee. That was a very stress test for the people, not only for the events that were programmed, but as I say, for the events that we couldn't never suppose.
Thank you so much.
Sorry.
Thank you for your question. では、こちらの方、マイクをお持ちします。
Thank you so much for your presentation. I'd like to know about your way of thinking about the cost versus performance. Sometimes, for example, like in Japan, the local government would like to do something, many things, but of course the budget is limited. So we have to, sometimes we have to cut off like a digitalization or these kind of things. I'm not sure in your city, but in Japan, the digitalization maybe not so much like a prioritized agenda because of the maybe elder people is a big amount of people or something like that. So what do you think about your city and the way of thinking?
You're asking me about the budget. Yeah.
Any versus performance?
Yeah, we have three types, three kind of budget that we can put on digitalization. The first one is the own budget of the city, of the municipality, and we are pointing a lot on that. The second is the European fund. European Union put a lot of money on the digitalization and in the information technology, and in Europe we have 2 kinds of fund. The first one is the 7-year fund. Each 7-year European Union puts money on each region of Europe. Rome is in Lazio region. Lazio region is 2.8 billion for 7 years to innovation technology and digitalization. And the other kind of fund of European Union is by project. You present project to European Union and they fund you. And the third one is the national government. National government is putting a lot of money on digitalization. So this will be, I think, the core of the next year.
Thank you for your question. And due to time constraint, we will conclude the Q&A here. I apologize we couldn't answer all the questions. So thank you for your questions, and please join me in giving a round of applause for Mr. Patene. Thank you very much, Mr. Patene.